Welcome in to the Toyota Lounge. This is the DNVR Avalanche pregame show powered by your Toyota Front Range dealerships. We're also brought to you by Coors Light and Bet365. Avs taking on the Edmonton Oilers on the Sega Baba. Not going to sit here and tell you this is going to be an easy one. This is... well, I guess there's technically one more road game, but the end of the last real road trip for the Avs here, a 3-game stretch. Right now, they're 500 on the road trip. You really got to have this one. If you're serious about winning the Central Division, you really need this game. Avs getting a little bit of reinforcement back. It sounds like both Val Nichushkin and Yakov Trenin are likely, but not quite confirmed yet. I'm sure Twitter will tell us that they're in warm-ups or not in a second here. But Chris Wagner reassigned. Avs at full power on a Sega Baba. Where is the scale of versus Edmonton? Can beat, should beat, have to beat, won't beat? Where are we at?
Definitely can beat.
Okay. Can you go should beat?
I don't want to say should because it's it's guaranteed that they should because Edmonton won't be competitive because they will be competitive. So that much won't be easy on the second leg of a back-to-back. But to the vein of need to be, like you said.
A bit of a different scale, but
yes,
yeah.
I think they're in that realm because of how important the points are down the stretch.
For sure.
And they started on a good thing with this last game. I'd like to see them continue building upon it. And I know we talk about measuring stick games. I still think this is part of the conversation with Edmonton, and it's an important test for them too. The pieces they could potentially be getting back tonight bring energy, especially Yakov Trenin. And so hopefully where their legs aren't quite under them at points, those guys are a bit fresher and can bring some of that energy back to the lineup.
Eric, you were talking about Edmonton coming off a tough loss.
Yep.
Think you're gonna get a response out of them tonight? It's gonna be tough for Colorado?
Yeah, I mean, it's always like, hey, would you rather face a team when they've won 8 in a row, or would you rather face a team when they just got their asses whooped?
Pick
like
neither.
Dallas, right? You know, that's what I mean. Like, it's like, yeah, I don't want, or both. You know, like AJ both. You know what I mean? No, I'm kidding. But love you, AJ. I don't know. Like, I expect a dogfight. I do. Well, there's so many stories, right? You know, we'll get into that, but I just feel that, you know, they're going to be angry. Edmonton's going to be angry. The Avs, you know, obviously coming off a win, but again, like you just said, it's a road trip. It's 1-on-1. You want to have a winning road trip. It's a back-to-back game. I always talk about it. It doesn't bother me. I hate the third one in 4 nights, but we'll worry about tonight before Sunday. But I just feel that at this time of year, you have to be able to answer the bell with what's thrown at you, because in 10 days from now, whenever it is, when playoffs are starting in 2 weeks, you're going to get stuff thrown at you. You don't have time to breathe and figure things out. You just got to go and adjust on the go. So I expect the Avs tonight to be ready for a angry Edmonton Oilers team. So I'm excited for this one tonight.
I suspect I might be drifting into the realm of someone's eater here, but Alexander Georgiev going in net for Colorado after a couple of games from Eustace and then expectations for him have to be pretty high tonight, right? Realistically, the Avs need Georgiev tonight to be the quality starting goaltender we know he can be. Can he actually do that, though?
Well, in talking about fresh legs under some of the not new additions, but the possible reinforcements on the way, that's something Georgiev also has to his advantage tonight.
It's true.
And after his last showing, getting frustrated and pulled from the net, he has a little bit of trust to earn back. I don't want to say it's completely lost from one game, but it's harmed. And this is the type of game that's important to earn it back by keeping a level head throughout what is sure to be a tough competition. You know, Edmonton has some offensive weapons up top, if the Avs, one, can just stay out of the pucks and just not give that power play an opportunity, they still have to focus on trying to contain the McDavids and the Draisaitl's, who are probably going to be not only a little bit stung from the loss that they recently endured, but are also embroiled in a tight points race around the league, much like MacKinnon and Rantanen are. So that's going to come down to Georgiev making the saves that matter when they need them most. I expect that in a game like tonight against a good team. And it's going to be a really big test for Georgiev. I know that sounds weird to say with 6 games left to go in the season, but what I mean by that is, can he bounce back from what happened to him mentally? Or is that something that continues to spiral out a little bit?
It's a great point, because we've seen this season has really been a stretches for Georgiev. He'll play a handful of games well, then he'll have a bad one, and he'll have a handful of bad games. If you want to believe in him in the playoffs, he's got to show that he can have a bad game and come back and play a good one following it up. Combine that with the fact, and I'm not saying Minnesota and Edmonton are on the same level, but Justus Annunen just put up a 44-save performance last night. That's got to motivate him a little bit, right, E?
Has to push you. And if it doesn't, you're in the wrong business. You simply are. So he is a competitor. Here's what I think about Georgiev. Like, the good thing is he's a good goalie. If you're asking a bad goalie to go do something to be good, then it's a tough task. He is a good goalie. All I think his teammates and the coaching staff and everybody is asking is be good. You don't have to be great. I said it yesterday. You don't have to be great. You got to be good. Just don't be bad. And so it's not stressful. Just go and do your job. Go be the goalie that you're capable of being, and things will go south, because things go south in a 60-minute game. Just like in a season, things go south. Don't panic. Don't bring your level of like redness go all the way up to the top. You know what I mean? Just breathe. Like, it's all good. And I mean, look at Justus. I didn't like his first goal yesterday.
Yeah.
We were sitting. I didn't like it. It's the NHL. Guys are good shooters, but still, it's whatever. But then after that, he's almost, besides the 5-on-3, that what's he going to do? He's almost flawless. Yes, it is the Minnesota Wild, but tonight it is a big test before the dance in 2 weeks, because it is a playoff type atmosphere. It's a sold out building. It's a team that just lost. It's a team that's jockeying for position 2, so to speak, right? I mean, I'm God, man. I'm still in awe of what they've done. I thought they were toasted. I thought they were done after 20 games. I mean, it was disastrous. But hey, they're right there, and it's going to be a team that the Avs could very well face in the playoffs at some point, right? So for Georgiev and the rest of the team tonight, like we just talked about the measuring stick, it's a big one. It's a big one, so go out there, and when you got to go and live those big moments, don't put too much pressure on yourself. Just go out there and be yourself.
Hope you're right. How do you combine that with being yourself? Great. How do you be yourself and get to your 3 keys, though, E? What?
Yeah.
Are the 3 keys literally just the Avs being themselves, or are there specifics that they need to hit on?
Yeah, no, there's a little specific, but it's funny. I was listening to Tortorella last week. He's saying, like, hey, there's some guys that can't play in those moments, and he's right. He's right. It's just too many people are afraid to say it, And he was talking to Morgan Frost there, but it's not a big deal.
He's wrong about that one.
No. I'm not saying he's right. I'm saying, but it was funny.
The concept is correct.
The concept is correct, but he bobbles the puck, and that's who he was talking to. Obviously, he'll say no, but it was. But you have to be able to control your emotions. So tonight, it's like I said, it's a big one, because it's power versus power. I mean, if you're not doing anything tonight and you're sitting and you had a great day at work or at Coors Field or whatever it is, what a hockey game to watch. You got Draisaitl and MacKinnon against McKinnon. I mean, McDavid. Hey, they're everywhere. But what's his name? MacKinnon and the Moose. You know what I mean? So you're talking about outstanding
top
versus
end talent,
outstanding.
yeah.
That's power versus power with power signs like boom. You got to win that matchup. That's your key number 1 tonight. That's and then as the rest of the team has to go, you got to follow suit. You got to follow suit, and you got to help out. It doesn't get better than that. So we were talking about Miles Wood last game on the post game and guys like that. Just follow suit. Follow suit. Let the big guys lead the way because they're going to have to do it because you know what? They do want to measure themselves. They do. Don't think Mac doesn't know that he's going against McDavid and Kucherov put up a 3-spot yesterday. You put up a 3-spot, so you didn't gain any ground on them. And I mean, it's going to be like this the whole friggin' last, 6 games? So it's a big one tonight. And if you're a player, don't be a passenger. I'm talking about outside of the, the top, the elite players. Don't be a passenger. Just follow suit and help out. Number 2, you got to play below the goal line against those guys. The Darnell Nurse, and, he's struggling right now. I don't know if you saw some of those goals last game. It's like, oh, boy. Make him turn his feet. I always talk about turning your feet as a D. Face your goalie, not the opposition's goalie. It's a different game. He's struggling right now, and I'm using Nurse. It's not just Nurse. Their D-core, for me, is suspect.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So if you're the Avs, play below the goal line, expose, the holes in their D, and make them make bad reads. Make them make decisions. And their decisions haven't been the greatest. What does that do also? Low to high plays against Edmonton always work well. Always work well, especially when you got Kale up top and Taze and now Manson that's playing like a freaking Norris Trophy winner. Like he's playing awesome.
Worked pretty well against Minnesota last night too.
You know what I mean? Like so, low to high, put pucks on net, get the Pizza Hut, and then play with the lead. We said it yesterday. Score first, and you added that. I remember that was a great line. You said no, also play with the lead.
Yeah.
Play with the lead. You're on the road. It's a great test against a good team. It's one of those upper echelon teams in the National Hockey League. Forget about their first 20 games. They are a good team. Edmonton's a good team. So go at them. It is a Segababa. Short, hard, to get your shifts going. Get involved. Get a hit. Give a hit. Take a hit. Smart with the puck. I always tell you, I'll say it again, get out after the first, even or better, and you're in a good shape.
Eric talked a lot about the big guy matchups, MacKinnon, McDavid, and Draisaitl, Rantanen. How does the rest of the Avs top 6 match up, though? Because they do have a 50-goal Zach Hyman this year. The Avs don't have a 50-goal guy, but if Val Nichushkin does end up in tonight, it's hard to argue against their top 6. Is it pretty even for you, Megan, or do you think one team has the edge?
Well, it'll come down to whether or not Val Nichushkin is back in the lineup or not. I think that'll be a difference maker because if that second line is made up of Duhaime, Middlestat, Lehkonen, it feels like Edmonton has the clear edge for the top 6 battle. But I'll feel a lot more comfortable if then Nichushkin is back in. And I think that's what it's going to come down to. I think this could remind us in ways of the Pittsburgh game, not necessarily in the desperate comeback effort, but in terms of the goal scoring needing to come from the top guys as well as some of the depth. Even just looking at the last Edmonton game with the contributions from Sean Walker, I think it'll be necessary because Edmonton has McKinnon's number and has Rantanen's number, and they know those are guys that they need to contain. And that's why I think this could be a really big game for Colorado's depth, the Miles Wood, the Ross Coltons, but it is going to be a pretty tough matchup between those two top 6s. A lot of firepower on each, and so it'll really expose then the vulnerabilities of the team defense on either side, having to contend against two teams with a lot of offensive weapons up top.
I think head-to-head, those 4 guys, Mac and Mikko versus McDavid and Draisaitl, I think I want to say some, like, I think I read some from producer Drew earlier today. Like, I think he did say, like, I think they have, like, 1.8 games against the Avs or something like that. Like, it was...
over the last, like, 3-4 years, the Avs have been impressively dominant over Edmonton.
Okay, that's what I was reading producer Drew, and then something like that. It was like it's not even close. But I like your point about Hyman because you tend to forget about Hyman. He's got 50 butts. I mean, that's unreal. But then again, Val plays the whole year. Maybe he's close to 50. I'm not saying he's at 50.
I think he's probably at 40.
But I bet you put 32 general managers right here. Who do you take?
Hyman or Val? Yeah.
I'll tell you one thing. I know one guy's got 50, but right now a lot of guys would pick the other guy. I'm just saying to go win a playoff series, and they're both awesome. They're both, hey, listen, pick and choose here is a little hard, but that was a good point by you, Hyman. But yeah, I that matchup tonight is something to watch, and And it sounds like Mac and Mikko have always raised to the occasion, and Kale as well, right? So
Well, that Kale's the secret weapon there for me.
That's right.
No offense to Evan Bouchard or anything, but
That's not.
He's
Not
not
the
Kale
same.
McCarr. So
it's not the same level.
could be the difference maker. Before I steal anyone else's eaters with all the people we've talked about, who is gonna eat tonight? Who do we got? Eric, I'm making you wait this time.
That's fine.
I'm gonna make Megan go first on this one.
You know, I'm picking Arturi Lehkonen, so I don't think anyone had him necessarily. It's to build on his contribution last game, getting them on the board first, not necessarily asking him to do that specifically, but he's matched up well against Edmonton in past contests. The game notes said 19 points in 27 games he's played in Edmonton over his career, both regular and postseason. I like those odds for Lehkonen, so I'd like to see him continue to boost the top six, however that shakes out. Hearing Nichushkin is back in the lineup, confirmed, is wonderful news. And so, honestly, when Arturi Lehkonen eats, it usually means everyone around him's eating too. So it's a healthy sign of a good team when Arturi Lehkonen is eating.
Also, if this game gets into overtime, it's a mortal lock that Arturi Lehkonen is scoring the goal in overtime.
Exactly.
So.
That's why I feel really good about this.
Eric, who you got?
I got Middlestat. You know, I like him. I've seen stuff like last game. I saw him back check. Like, I've never seen this guy back check. He was chasing that puck down like I'm chasing like a Forsberger downstairs at the bar.
So
You know what I mean? Like, he's just all over. He's got good stick in his defensive play. Has been great. His hands are awesome. I'm picking him. I think he puts, Nugent Hopkins, which has been struggling too. Everybody gets ups and downs, right? I do believe he's been struggling too. I think he puts him in his back pocket tonight if that's the matchup or whatever. Who knows what the matchup's going to be, but who knows where the matchup's going to be. But I'm talking about a secondary player. You know what I mean? I feel that Middlestat eats as my Circle K eater, Nugent Hopkins.
I hope you two are right, but I'm going the take that Megan had earlier on the show. I'm taking Ross Colton. I think that third line has to be the difference tonight for Colorado. MacKinnon and Ranton will get theirs. McDavid and Draisaitl will get theirs. It's the auxiliary guys that tend to make the difference in a game like this. I would love for it to be Val to pop off at his game back and all of that, but it just feels like that third line is due for some conversion of goals. And I don't even think they played particularly badly against Minnesota. I thought they were pretty good. They just didn't finish their opportunities. See Ross put one in the back of the net. Too scared to pick Miles Wood because he just can't finish. It's just not going in for him.
Tonight he's getting his 10.
I'm taking Colton instead, but
Woody's getting his 10 tonight.
I want to see that Avs depth come through for them here. And I want to see you go get in the Inner Circle with Circle K. Use that QR code that's about to pop up on screen, or go to circlek.com/inner circle to get signed up today. When you sign up, 25 cents off a gallon on your first 5 fill-ups. Fantastic game day snack deals every single day, including 5 free Fuller Pops of any size when you go in and signed up with the Inner Circle. So get to Circle K today and get part of that Inner Circle. This is the final 6 games of the season, right? It's the home stretch. It's now or never if the Avs want to win the Central Division. Does the Central Division hang truly on this game? If you lose tonight and you're the Colorado Avalanche, do you just accept your fate as second place in the Central?
Well, the margin of error is really slim, right?
That's what I'm saying.
You got 6 games left. I mean, you almost have to run the table, and even then, that means you beat Dallas. Then I still think you need help. You still need help for that one.
Dallas does need to lose a game beyond just
that's
to
what
the
I mean.
end.
So
Yes.
again, I think it's more the margin of error is so slim.
Let me ask you it this way. If the Avs lose tonight, do you start considering just making up names here? But if you lose tonight, let's say Kale has something nagging him. Do you rest him down the stretch?
Oh, you definitely have to look at where you're at. I think you have to play one game at a time, right?
Okay.
And then see where you're at. And if you can't move, if you can't, then it's called asset management, right? You gotta manage your assets the best way you can. But it'll be interesting to see. Again, you just want to be going into the playoffs playing the best hockey. Listen, last couple games are okay, but again, we've dealt with a different lineup too, with guys being out and your lines all messed up. But when everything was healthy here the last few weeks, they played the best hockey that they've played all year long. You know what I mean? So now, same with Dallas. That's going on the franchise record, a game, winning streak. Obviously, they play in Chicago tomorrow afternoon, but before coming here Sunday for the big clash. But yeah, I think every game's important. I think you try to win every game, but I don't think, is it life or death? No. And then chips, again, I'll say it again, chips will fall where they fall, and then you go from there and you be ready for the dance.
They have to control the things that they can control. And so that includes winning a game like tonight. It doesn't get easier for them when you look at the rest of the teams that they have to play against. I'm going to include Minnesota in there too, even though they face them one more time. I'm not going to say that that's easier. And then beyond that, win or lose tonight, like Eric was saying, there are going to be some things that are left out of their hands. All they can do is prepare for the game at hand and can control their controllables. And it's why they want to put their best foot forward tonight. And even if they lose, they want to continue putting their best foot forward, whatever that looks like down the last few games. And I think it's important, to Eric's point of wanting to play the best hockey at this point in the season. Even if they lose tonight, there's still significance in wanting to ramp off for playoff hockey by stringing together good games that are reminiscent of Avalanche hockey.
And when we talk about keys and stuff, like there's 2 points that I'll never put on again, you know what I mean? But coming down the stretch right now, and then obviously 2 weeks from now for the playoffs, there's nothing bigger at this time of year in playoffs than A, goaltending, and B, your special team. I mean, special teams are huge. I'm never going to keep saying it every day on the keys. It's a given. It's like breathing. Hey, you got to breathe or you're going to pass out, right? So, again, I'll never say special team, but you get good special teams, right there you're in the game. You have a big chance to win the game. You have shitty special teams, it's tough to win in the playoffs or down the stretch here. And it's the same thing. I said I wouldn't talk about Georgiev, but I'll say it again. Like, you need good goaltending. Not great, good. Just don't be bad.
And better than the other guy, like you always say.
That's it. Better, and that's your job, to be better than the other guy. And when you make a save, a grade A save, guess what? That doesn't make you superhuman. It makes you a goalie in the NHL. You're supposed to make grade A saves. You know what I mean? You're supposed to.
Yep.
It doesn't make you a savant.
And then made a bunch the other night.
And the Avs will mess up, and they will stop on the banana peel and fall down and then give a breakaway. Shit happens. Like, it's gonna happen. Every team does that. So let's just make sure we don't go back to those 2 points all the time, because they're massive.
A bingo from Randy in the Toyota chat right there. Part of my bets that we have here include that power play for the Avs. I would really like to see them be successful there. Another option for the Avs to out-duel Edmonton. Special teams going to matter. Taking the Avs to win, they're plus money on the money line. You don't get that at the start of the game very often. And I'm taking that Druin power play point. Even with Nichushkin back in the lineup, Druin will stay on that top unit. It'll be Middlestat that moves down to unit 2. So, good money for Druin on the power play. Hopefully he can keep rolling as the Masterton nominee for the Avalanche. Obviously playing great as of late. And then my favorite little bet, the second period highest scoring, always the one I go for, because the long change makes for more offense.
Huge.
So if you're looking for a cheeky little bet, that's the one I like to do. You can follow along with my bets over on Bet365. Sign up with the DNVR 365 code when you do to get a $5 bet on the NHL and $150 in bonus bets with that bet. So jump on it. Go join Bet365 today. And, of course, when you gamble with them, you must be 21 or older, physically located in Colorado. And if you or someone you know has a gambling problem, call or text 1-800-GAMBLER today. Final thoughts? Anything else you guys want to add before we get ready for this watch-along we got coming? No?
Is this an important individual game for Nathan MacKinnon and his quest for Hart?
Yes. I think I think it's his to lose at this point. I really do. But MacKinnon for Hart. If he does go out and put up a 0-point night and McDavid puts up like 4 points or something, when you are the leader in the clubhouse, you see the media start looking for excuses not to give it to you. You see guys start to make narratives about Kucherov, about McDavid. You got to go out and shut those guys up. So I do think it matters for Nathan MacKinnon. Also, 9 points back of the franchise point record in a season. Not just the Avalanche record, a Quebec Nordiques point record for the season. Not impossible for him to get there.
6 games to go.
Yeah.
You just get a couple here and there and then a point per game on the others.
Yep.
It's doable.
And
50 goals is doable too.
he really should get 50 goals, I think.
So I would like to, it doesn't have to be accomplished tonight, but I'd like to see him hit that marker as well. Or else.
Shoot. Better do this, MacKinnon. We're watching.
No, this game sets the tone for the rest of the season. It does. This game sets the tone. It does. It sets the tone for Sunday, sets the tone for the rest of the week, which is a very weird last 10 days of the season. Weird as crap. With game 3 off game. It's weird. You know?
It is a weird schedule for sure.
So this one is it's a big one. Then we'll worry about Sunday.
Love it. We're going to wrap up this pre-game show. We appreciate y'all. Watch along coming your way. We'll try to get it up by puck drop. We are running a little bit late here, though, so it might be a close call. Join us there, or at very least the post-game where we'll break it all down for you. We'll talk to you very soon.
We all silly like the mayor.